Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Victoria here. And for those of you who are new, welcome. I hope you will find it entertaining or interesting. And I hope that you will subscribe to my channel and become part of our community here on YouTube. Today is the 30th of March, so we are not yet exactly at the end of March, so I'm making this video a little bit early. Usually I do it after the month is finished, but this time I won't be able to do it because I have a visitor this coming weekend or already arriving tomorrow, and then I will be traveling, so I won't have the chance to shoot this video in the next, let's say, 10 days. So I rather get it done now, just a little bit, like 1 day early or 2 days early. So in today's video, as usual, we are going to go through my goals, how did I do with the goals in this month, and then we are going to continue with my March budget, and finally we will talk about the in and out balance for the month of March 2023. Let's jump right in and start with the goals. This month was pretty great from that point of view, or at least from the point of view of those little goals which are basically set per month, or that can be interpreted monthly, because some of my 2023 goals are rather long term, so they are more annual goals rather than monthly goals. But let's just quickly go through my health and wellness goals, which was, the first goal was to go swimming once a month. So far so good. This month I went once as well as last month, so this is going well. In January I was twice, so overall I've been 4 times this year. Get a My Club subscription. Finally in March I got a My Clubs subscription. My Clubs is a mobile application. There are different kinds of subscription you can get, and then you can go and train in many different gyms in Vienna. You can also take classes in many different gyms. You can go to yoga class, dance class, etc., boot camp, whatever floats your boat. I saw that you can even go ice skating to one of the ice rinks, at least in the winter season when the ice rinks are open. They are not open anymore, at least the outside ice rinks are not open anymore. This month I was lucky enough because for International Women's Day they had a discount of 50 euros. So instead of the monthly subscription of 49.90, I believe it's 49.90, I could get their basic subscription, which is 4 times a month or 4 times within 4 weeks. You can go to any of the gyms which are registered on their website, or any of the classes which appear on their website. And I got it for 24.90, so like half price. And I went already 3 times to different dance classes, reggaeton dance class, Zumba dance class, always to the same studio. I have yet to explore some other places other than that one specific dance studio where I went already 3 times. And I also saw that they have online classes, so next week when I am going to travel I will be able to take part in an online yoga class, or there are a few other options as well for online classes. So in case, someone is traveling and not around, they can still take advantage of their subscription. So up to 4 classes a month with my type of subscription, but for 100 euros you can get an unlimited where you can go anytime you want, but maximum 4 times to the same class, or is it to the same gym? I would have to confirm that. So yeah, finally I did the subscription for March. So finally we can tick that box for the first time in 2023. Next goal was to read every day before sleeping. I have read not every day, and this is not really a tangible thing to be able to read every day before going to bed. As I already said in my last video, sometimes if I go out, it is just not realistic to read. But whenever I'm at home and go to bed at a reasonable time, and I have no people over, and I'm not out socializing or doing something, or going to a party or a concert or a comedy, or going out for drinks or whatever, So every time when I am at home and I go to bed at my normal time, I must read, basically. Let's rephrase this goal. And in fact, I did that. I also have tracked my habits the same way as last month. So the reading, for example, I can tell you that I have read 26 days out of the 31. I already know that today I will be able to read. Oh, although maybe not, because I'm going out today. So let's see. Since there are still 2 more nights coming in March, I'm already at 25 days and I was hoping to get in 1 more day, but I just realized maybe today I won't be able to do it, and tomorrow I probably won't, but let's see. It's gonna be between 25 to 27 days out of the 31 that I have read before going to bed. Alcohol consumption tracking. Wow, I was actually quite impressed, or well, actually not impressed, because that would be a positive word and it's more like a negative surprise, that I have consumed alcohol 10 days out of the 31 this month, adding to that 10, like adding to the 8 which has already passed today and tomorrow, which I expect that I will consume alcohol, which is surprising that it's 1/3 of the month I had a drink, at least like one drink, 1 glass of wine or a beer, like always something little. Although 2 times I went out to dance and to a party where I had a bit more drinks, not just one. So yeah, it was a bit surprising, because I feel like most days I don't drink alcohol, but it turns out, I mean, it's still most days I don't, like 70% I don't, or 65% I don't, but 1/3 of the days I do. And yeah, I definitely would like to lower that number. Then exercise, tracking my exercise. Considering that I am going to do exercise tomorrow as well in the morning after getting up, I did exercise 26 days out of 31 this month. Some days even multiple exercises, but also some days just an easy stretching or yoga. Other days it's yoga plus the dance class, or I also went running one day I went swimming. It is getting a little bit diversified now, and it's not only at home yoga or Pilates that I'm doing, but I'm doing a lot of different things also outside. I also went cycling one day with some friends. So yeah, it's diverse now that the weather is getting better, although currently it's pretty gray and cold, unfortunately. And then headaches. I had only one headache this month, which this is something I'm impressed about and I'm happy about, because in the past 2 months my days of headaches were like between 3 to 6, I think, and now it was just 1. And I also managed to do social media free days every Friday. Tomorrow is another day when I am going to do social media free. Understand this, that I am not allowed to scroll on Instagram and on Facebook, so I can still go on YouTube. YouTube I use mostly for education purposes anyway, so most of the content that I consume is on side entertainment, but on other side it's education, it's self-development, is getting recipe ideas, developing my cooking skills, this kind of thing. So I consider that as a little bit of a different kind of platform, while Instagram and Facebook are more for and Facebook is purely just scrolling and there is nothing there that interests me. And Instagram, I can get lost in Instagram and consume a lot of these. Like some of the things are funny, some of the things are also educational as well, but controversial maybe as well. And sometimes it's just like the cute animal videos. So yeah, I consume a lot of reels, especially. I'm allowed to do that almost every day of the month except for Fridays. Yeah, so that was the habit tracking, and yeah, and I already know the answer whether or not I moved every 5 days a week. I definitely did. There was not 1 week when I moved less than 5 days in 1 week, so it was actually more than that. There was the social media, 1 day without social media per week. I also did that, and I also did a therapy session this month. This is something that I sign myself up for once a month, but maybe sometimes it can be more than once. But I also started coaching, which is now a 10-week-long program that I started in March. So it's kind of similar, not really, like it's not really therapy, but close, like from the topics and from the focus of it. So that's also something that I started to do. So I guess that box can be checked. Personal goals, read 20 plus books this year. Let's see where we are standing right now, because in March I read a lot. I really finished a lot of books this month, and not only read physical books but listened to audiobooks, some of the audiobooks on YouTube, because there are some full audiobooks available on YouTube as well. And some, of course, I use Audible for audiobooks, and I also read physical books. So this month I have finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 books, which is a record, I think, for me to finish 7 books in a month. I think so far my average was like 2-3 books per month. In January I did 3, in February I did 3 as well, and now I did 7. I finished The Clarity and Connection by Jung Pueblo, and I didn't bring that book here, but I want to bring it here because I wanted to read from it a section. Just because I mentioned these Jung Pueblo books already in every month, every catch-up that I recorded, I wanted to bring you just an idea of what kind of little poems or quotes or, wise statements and ideas there are in these books. I finished his Clarity and Connection book, which I realized that I was telling you wrongly before, that I read this one before, because I didn't read this one before. I read The Inward already 2 or 3 times, which is his first, and this one is his second book. And yeah, just this section from one of the little poems, or I don't even know what you call this, honestly. It is up to us to envision and enact a new standard for society, to deeply realize the value of human life, so that the compassionate treatment of all people becomes the guiding principle that dictates how we design our communities, institutions, and nations. Our world has fallen into extremes. Greed, competition, individualism, and short-sighted decision-making have created a world of plenty for some and a world of struggle for most. We are out of balance. We live within systems that push against each other and easily cause direct and indirect forms of harm. We do not yet know how to win together or how to live well without damaging our earth. And it continues. There are, in this book, for example, the topics that he writes these poems about are self-awareness, unbinding, the love between us, which is about relationships as well as friendships, growing, which is about healing and growing, and your spirituality as well, and the new life of what we should strive towards. And this section that I just read was from the new life. So we should strive to be all more compassionate, because definitely today's society is very far from that, unfortunately. So that was one of the books that I finished. I also finished Anxious People from Frederick Bachman. That was the first book that I read this month. I didn't really enjoy it. I know it's a very popular book. There is even a Netflix series made out of this book. I was not a big fan. For me, it was a bit shallow for me. It wasn't deep enough for my current state of mind, or my current journey that I'm on, when I'm going very, very deep into mental, emotional self-development and so on. It raised some definitely existing social and personal issues that we are facing, which are all created by society. It also has raised the issue that, when you're forced to get to know someone, that's when you start to understand them. But most of the time you would not take the time to get to know someone, and you encounter so many people we encounter way too many people in our lives which we cannot process, and we obviously cannot know all of them, and we shouldn't come to conclusion and judge each other based on just one encounter, because you don't know that person, you don't know their story. So it does raise some things, some deeper issues, but it doesn't really go deep into them. Like it talks about suicide and just like different life stages and journeys through life. But the way it jumps around, for me, it was a bit of a mess, honestly, and it was not so true for me. It was too, as I said, shallow. So I read it, but I was not so impressed like everyone loves, like so many people love it somehow. Then I also finished Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck from Mark Mason, which I already read 6 years ago once, and then I listened to it on Audible, and then I got it as a present last year or 2 years ago, like the physical book, and I finally got to read the physical book as well. There are also some very interesting concepts and ideas in it, although I believe I saw, and I will have to check on YouTube, but I believe I saw that the guy who wrote this, Mark Mason, yes, he posted a video saying like, don't listen to me, this book is bullshit or something like that. So basically, I have not listened to this video. It's a 9-minute long video. In the thumbnail of this video, in the picture, he's burning his own book and say, I wrote this, and the title says, why your favorite self-help book sucks. So I expect that this video is about him kind of taking apart his book and saying that what he wrote is bullshit, which I don't think what he wrote is bullshit. I think at that moment of his life, he was on that level. And there are a lot of truths in that book, and there are a lot of good ideas, and for people to start to go on their journey of, self-development and getting a little bit deeper into our feelings and emotions and just learning about why we do certain things the way we do them. For that, it's a good book. When I first read it, I really liked it. And the second time, I feel like I got deeper into it and I kind of understood more from it, or I could relate to it more now, like 6 years later. Yeah, that was another book that I read. I also finished listening to The Atomic Habits from James Clear. It's also a very popular self-development book. It is about habits and how you can create new habits and stick to them for those who are struggling to create positive habits in their life, or those who have big goals but don't know how to reach them, or it seems daunting to start a journey. It could be anything, if you want to run a marathon, if you want to lose weight, if you want to graduate, if you want to get a job. It could be anything, but developing certain habits or developing your skills, and for that you also need to have the habit of learning every day or practicing your skill every day. It could be a good book with a lot of insight, a lot of ideas, a lot of examples as well. And it's available on YouTube, so you can just listen to it for free. I also finished a German book, which is also a self-help book. The title says, do you want to be normal or do you want to be happy? And well, this is along the lines of how you should change your life to be happier, and how you should kind of forget about how you grew up, like what you grew up in, the ideas that you learned from your parents, or the ideas that society project onto you and that you think are correct. You should be more selective and more conscious of what you believe and what you internalize as your own idea or your own opinion or your own way of life, like what you believe in, basically. You need to leave behind a lot of your beliefs and habits as well, to be able to kind of grow out of this state where we are just, in this hamster wheel of, this is how things are, life is hard, this is how it's supposed to be, this is how society told me to do things, or this is what is expected from me. and rather let it go. Just like Mark Mason says as well, like fuck other people's expectations. Yeah, so it's an older book. I got it last year. Yeah, I got it in 2021 for free. I just picked it up from a free bookshelf because I like the title, like, do you want to be normal or happy? So apparently, like, the normal peoples are the depressed or at least sad or these like hamster wheel people, while we should strive towards to become generally happier and healthier, I guess, not only in physical body but in the mindset. There were some pretty good ideas in this book as well. It was a bit difficult for me to read because it was in German, but it was a good read. And then I also listened to, on YouTube, the book called Attached from Amir Levin and Rachel S.F. Heller, which is about relationships. Well, it is about attachment styles, and it is applying the attachment style, which theory was originally developed to mark the children's attachment towards their mom. But they realized that this same principle, this same theory can be used for people in relationships, and it talks about the 3 attachment styles: the anxious, the avoidant, and the secured attachment style. So these are the 3. And based on this book, you can kind of identify which style you have, what are your personality traits, or what are your behaviors when it comes to a relationship. And also you can learn how to deal with other people who are maybe in a different attachment style, and how to strive towards becoming secure, which is apparently the majority of the people are secure, which I don't really believe, because wow, really? I don't think so. But that is the healthy attachment style that you should strive for in a relationship, and to secure people together, kind of what you are looking for in a relationship. Definitely there is a pull between the anxious and the avoidant, and I did experience that as well myself, because an avoidant cannot be with an avoidant. So that's why, like, kind of the 2 opposites kind of pull or attract each other, but it can never be a long-term healthy relationship. So I learned a lot about relationships, what to strive for, also learned about my past relationships and how or why they didn't work out, and what we both were doing wrong, or not wrong, but like according to our attachment style, and like the reaction as well. So you can also learn about how to react to the attachment styles and behaviors of a certain type of person in a healthy way. Because if you get triggered, you will react according to your attachment style, but you should react like a secure would react, or a secure attachment person would react, because then that reaction will not trigger the other person to his or her attachment style reaction, but then it would be a more balanced rather than the 2 extremes. And yeah, it was a very, very interesting listen as well. So a lot of books this month. Were they all self-development books, basically? Kind of. I mean, The Anxious People is a novel, but it is still talking about, important social constructs. Yeah, and then I already for this month I have a few reads that I'm looking forward to in this realm, but also some non-fiction as well. Okay, we talked way too much about books, so let's move on to the next goals. So one of my personal goals is to do at least 1 home renovation project, which I'm hoping to do in April. I haven't done it yet. April or May, hopefully. Business and YouTube goals for 2023 was, for YouTube, is to upload 2 videos a week, and I believe in March I did that. I was able to upload every week 2 videos, but let me double check that. I uploaded 9 videos in March, and yes, I uploaded every week 2 videos. So finally, this is the first month in 2023 when I did that. Throughout the whole month, that I could upload 2 videos a week. Reaching 1,000 subscribers. I am currently at 207 subscribers on YouTube. I was growing like rapidly for a bit, and then it, like 2 weeks ago, it kind of stopped, and then it started to also go down, and I was like, oh no, what is going on? Now I'm so consistent, it should consistently go up. But I guess, yeah, well, I don't have exciting travel vlogs. I haven't had them in a month, so maybe that's why, I don't know. And all the other things, actually, I did not move one step towards, I mean, of course, there is one goal on this list, which is to get the World Beach Games project, which is something that I will probably not get. I might have another project instead. We'll see, but we will think about that when it comes to that. And let's move on, because this video is going to be already super long. I have been talking so long, especially about the books that I read, but they are so exciting. Maybe I should have like a separate video just for the books. Let's talk about the budget of March. So as you can see, the budget breakdown here. March was once again a low spending month, so similar to January, even lower this month. And as you can see, there is also a very big fluctuation between 2 months, like February was quite high and then March is like quite low actually. So my average spending is obviously somewhere in between. But because of the way my bills come in, this is what I can expect, that 1 month's gonna be way like double expenses as the other months, and my income is also fluctuating, so every month is a bit different, so it's a bit difficult to budget. But that is why I'm using sinking funds and security fund, and that is why I am budgeting month per month, meaning that I budget, all my bills which I expect to come every third month or annually. I already budget for them every month. So fixed costs, I had to pay my rent, obviously every month I have to pay that, internet and mobile, similar amount as normally. In between, I haven't had to pay house insurance, heating or electricity this month. My subscriptions are at around 11.7 at the moment, because I'm not paying for Netflix at the moment. I'm budgeting 18 per month because that includes Netflix as well, but at the moment I'm not paying that. Charity is going to be deducted from my account next month, and it's 60 euros, so that's why my balance is at 60 euros at the moment. And I haven't had to pay health insurance this month. I think it's gonna come in May next time. And the bank costs are something that I'm expecting for March because it's the end of the quarter. So at the end of tomorrow, they will deduct my bank cost. But at the moment, I don't know how much it will be. So that's why it's a question mark. But as you can see, my balances in every fixed cost category are in the positive. So definitely no issues there. Moving on to the variable costs, my first category is dining out and take out. This month I spent quite little in that category, even though I was going out a few times and I even went out to dance and stuff like that. But when I went out to party, I was not drinking anything there. I was drinking at home from my own stash of alcohol, so that I was pre-drinking, and then I went out and there I didn't consume anything, so I don't have to spend a lot of money on overpriced drinks. Even if it's just an alcohol-free drink, it's overpriced usually in these kind of places. And it's good that I have a rollover of 153.34 euros in that category, because in April I definitely do expect to spend way more in the dining out category. I will be traveling, I have visitors, so I definitely will be eating out way more than in March. Groceries is the opposite. I went over my budget a little bit, a tiny little bit, and since in the last 2 months I was way below, overall I'm still in the positive with my total budget for the year. This month I went over, I guess, because I spent most of my months here. I was not traveling. I went home maybe just for a weekend to Hungary, so I ate most of my meals at home, and I was trying a lot of new recipes as well, and I was eating very good food, to be honest. I was cooking a lot and I was enjoying my time in the kitchen as well. Then the gift category, I spent quite a big sum in the gift category. It was my father's birthday, so some of it went to that. And then I have a friend's birthday coming up in April and I already got her a present. So those were the two birthdays for which I spent the 70 euros and 14 cents. But I'm still in positive overall because of all the rollover that I had from last year. Although now I'm running out and my budget, maybe I have to raise my budget soon, because it's currently only 20 euros per month. The car budget, I had to pay for parking once, so that was 2.50 euros. So I spent very little there. The bus and taxi fare is standing at 16.40 euros. March was a better weather month, so I started to go by bike to most of the places where I was going. However, today I probably will have to use public transport and maybe even tomorrow, so we will see. This will probably go up in the next 2 days still in the month of March. And then clothing, I didn't spend anything this month. I was doing a huge wardrobe declutter and going through all my clothes and checking what I like and what I don't like, and now I have a list of things that I would like to buy. I went shopping actually on Saturday for some of these items, which are mostly basic items, like two pairs of shoes I want and a few other things, but I didn't find anything that I liked. I was not impressed by anything, let's just put it this way. So I'm still looking. Medical, that was the 34 euros, that was for my therapy session. Self-care, my spending was pretty low, 17.33, which I had to replace a few things. I ran out of my concealer that I had to replace. I don't even remember, because some of the things that I finished this month, I didn't replace them. The concealer, definitely I had to... yes, and I had to order my rosehip oil, which I finished and I finally replaced it this month, which I ordered a big batch, and then it's enough for a year or so. Then furniture, I didn't get anything in that category. Supplies and maintenance, this includes, I had to buy the dishwashing powder because I ran out, or the tabs, the dishwasher tabs, which was 11 euros. I also got some silicone, I don't even know what you call them in IKEA. You can get these silicone covers for bowls, that if you have something in a bowl that you want to put in the fridge or store away, you can put this silicone thing on top to cover it, rather than using aluminum foil or film, plastic film, which I don't have at home. I never buy them. I saw this in IKEA and I was like, okay, that's very practical. Since then, I'm not very happy with it because it's quite difficult to put it on the bowls because it slides down very easily. So it gives me a lot of anger, I guess. But I'm testing, okay? I'm still working on it. And then this category also includes my laundry fees. Then investment accounts, I still didn't start another investment outside of my monthly 100 euros in a fund. I wanted to raise this up already for the last few months to 300, but I haven't yet figured out what these other 200 is supposed to go to. I haven't even researched it, so that is something that I really definitely should do. Sports, so the sports, this 30-20 is the My Club subscription, which was 25 euros, and then I went swimming once. Business, so my business expenses this month were very, very low. It's just one software subscription and that's it. But I'm still in negative. But also next month I don't expect any high expenses. My annual tax review, whatever it's called, submission of my taxes, it's coming up in April as well, and if I have to pay that in April, then I will go into negative again, because that's gonna be also another few hundred euros, but we'll see. And then travel, I didn't spend anything in travel, although, well, actually I did, because I bought flight tickets, I guess, which I didn't include. I bought a flight ticket to Portugal to visit a friend, where I'm going in May, and that's it so far. Yeah, the other ones I haven't bought yet, but there are some other tickets that I need to buy. Blow money was 23 euros. I went out to dance 2 times, and there is an entry fee to the clubs, so that was that. And also, if I wear a jacket and I want the jacket to be stored away, I have to pay for that. So that's why it was like 23 euros overall. And today I'm going to a comedy, which is gonna be another like 12 to 15 euros. So this will be added to this 23 as well, still today. And just a quick looking in my sinking funds, not much is changing in my sinking funds. I have not spent anything on any of these items. I wanted to buy a MacBook, and then now I got a cold feet because I'm afraid that I won't be able to use it. I have to kind of relearn everything that I know about computers if I want to use a MacBook, and it's a huge investment, and I'm just afraid of it a little bit, to be honest. I wish I could get like a MacBook to test for like a month and then decide if I want to buy it or not after that. Is there something like that? Can you tell me if there is something like that? I would love to do that. Anyway, so this month I only put money into the Christmas sinking fund, which is standing on 232 euros and 76 cents, very particular. And every other sinking fund, I mean, the Vitamix, the roller skates, and the MacBook, they already are on, they have already reached the amount that I was striving for. And for the camera and jewelry, I don't really have a goal or like a sum that I need. So there is something where I will put money whenever I have some extra to budget. And so far in this year, I have not had that extra to budget for these categories. So there is spending. That was my budget for March. And finally, let's talk about the in and out balance for March. So this month's in and out balance looks like this. This is the first time in 2023 when my out is longer than my in. It is probably because of this whole wardrobe review that I was doing. I decluttered a lot of things, although a lot of those things were already decluttered in February, so they are in my February in and out balance. I also have finished a few products, hygiene and skincare products, one of my essential oils, one of my serums, which I didn't replace, my concealer, which I did replace. I finished the sunscreen, which I didn't have to replace because I already had some back stock. And I decided to declutter one of my trimmers because I had 2 and I didn't use one of them. And what moved in, I also decluttered 1 or 2 books. So this Frederick Beckman book, The Anxious People, I gave it to my mom to read, and then there was maybe 1 more Hungarian book that I brought back to her, and I got 2 books from her. Well, these are both in Hungarian. One of them is an Italian book from 2017. And this other one is a very old it's from 1974. I have read a couple of Robin Cook books, who is writing this kind of medical crime stories. Is it medical crime? I don't know what it's called. Let me check. Medical and mystery thriller. So medical thriller, yes. So I have read some of his books, and sometimes I am in the mood to read those and I enjoy them. And I found on my mother's bookshelf something similar in that genre, but it's from another author, so I was just curious. And I got 3 books from a friend that she decluttered. I helped her go through some of her stuff and declutter it. And I got 3 books from her. I got The Bookseller of Kabul from Osne Seyerstadt, an intimate portrait of Afghani people quite unlike any other compelling read. This is also an international bestseller. Then I got Khaled Hosseini, The Drachenläufer, which is the kite runner, which I started to watch the movie, but I don't know, I think the audio was off of the movie that I started to watch, like I downloaded it, or it was boring, I don't remember, or I was just not in the mood for it, but I never finished it, or I never actually I started it, but then I quit right away. And then there is one more, which is another New York Times bestseller from Rachel Hollis, The Girl Wash Your Face, which I just like the title, I guess. I expect that this is like an easy read. It's from 2018, just an easy girly read for in between when I need something easygoing, other than my currently quite heavy self-development books that I'm going through. So those are the things that moved in with me. I also got a notebook from Sophia for free because she uses different like format, and a post-it. So yeah, nothing like special actually. And the silicone covers for the bowls that I already mentioned. And that's all my imbalance. The out is more like a lot of clothes, which you could see in my trying on all my clothes videos, what I got rid of and what I kept. So if you have not watched those, check them out. And just like products that I finished. So yeah, that was it. That was my 2023 March reset video. I know this was super long, and hope you didn't mind. Let me know if you'd prefer if I didn't speak so much about a certain thing, and if you'd like me to elaborate more on other certain things that I might have not covered so detailed as you would have wanted. And I hope that you will join me next month for my April reset, and until then, subscribe to my channel, press the like button, and I hope to see you at my next video. Bye bye.